Hi everybody, this is a red, white, and green Arcane Bombardment deck that wants to cast Glistening Dawn multiple times, and this time we're bringing in the color white to support it and make it into a little bit more of a control package. Now down here on the low end, you can see we've got 2 copies of Play with Fire and 1 Tamiyo's Safekeeping, kind of like we had before, but then as we get into the 2s and 3s, you can see how adding some white in can really give our deck some legs, really help keep us alive in the early game, and give us a little more tricks once we start making Incubate tokens. So in the 2 drops, we've got 1 copy of Sacred Fire, a nice instant that we can activate Bombardment with and gain us a little bit of life. 1 Return to Nature, just as kind of a flexible instant spell. There might be a need to exile some things from our opponent's graveyard, and I'd rather have something a little faster and a little cheaper than Titania's Command to do that for us. 2 Lightning Strike, of course. 3 Sunder the Gateway, because this plays so nicely with our other Incubate cards in this deck, and it also gives us some extra artifact and enchantment removal. We're adding in 1 Fateful Absence to deal with some Planeswalkers, and then over here in the 3 drops, 3 Union of the Third Path can really just cement a victory against some decks and really allow us to come back quickly, especially against mono-red decks, a lot of the aggro decks that we're seeing on the ladder. Sometimes you get low enough, you might get a bombardment down, and then, a hasty creature, a timely instant can just take us out of the game. This gives us a little bit more cushion to work with as we start stacking spells back under Arcane Bombardment. We're also running 1 Geistflame Reservoir, a couple of copies of Into the Fire because it's a flexible, sort of small board wipe card draw spell. I'm trying out 1 Cabaretti Charm, an old favorite of mine, just to see if it works in here. It's not the greatest spell, so that's why there's only 1 copy, but opponents never see it coming when we give our creatures +1/+1, and it's nice to be able to create some little chump blockers too sometimes if you need it. Over in the 4s, of course, we're running 3 copies of Big Score and 3 Glistening Dawn. This was kind of the inspiration for this whole deck, and this whole series of decks, really. It's nice to be able to create some gigantic creatures in an Arcane Bombardment deck, something we don't actually get to do all that often. So it's kind of a change for us to be able to play Glistening Dawn and then open up the next turn with like a 7/7 or an 8/8. It's kind of different from our usual bombardment game finishing strategy. We're doing 1 copy of the Wandering Emperor because sometimes you just need to exile something, along with 3 copies of Sunfall for the same reason, and it creates even more Incubate tokens for us to work with. We're doing 1 Burn Down the House, which is always nice, and I love having 1 copy of this card in our back pocket. Speaking of which, we've got 1 Titania's Command for much the same reason, and then we're running a 4-1 split between Arcane Bombardment and Chandra Hope's Beacon to help copy some spells and provide a little bit of variety in our endgame strategy. In the sideboard here, you're not missing much. These were some other ideas that I had for the deck. We've got Ginny Faye in here. As we make Incubate tokens, she would instead turn them into just regular cat or dog tokens. Viral Spawning is another token creator, but it just makes a straight 3/3 with Toxic, so that's another potential area that this deck could expand into. And then Fog of War, it's kind of an alternative to Union of the Third Path, so if we didn't have access to Union, if we were in different colors, Fog of War might be able to fill in that spot. Alright, so let's get over and see a few games with this deck on the ranked standard ladder. I'll be with you for commentary, of course, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Alright, let's get it started here. We got 3 lands, we've got plenty of red, kind of some late game spells, but hopefully we'll draw into some of our cheap stuff. Got a Geistflame also to help us get there. Play with Fire, good. Yep, that's all we can do, so we're going to play this tap land now. Keep up Play with Fire just for the moment. Oh, Patches. Nice. Haven't seen that in a while. We're going to play Boseiju so that we can target Patches with Play with Fire. And pay the ward cost. Great. Patches down. Huge pain, especially since we're a ways off from our Sunfall, not guaranteed to get these lands. Ooh. Veil of Assimilation? Into Reinforced Ronin. Alright, I can respect that. Nice little bonus there. Excellent. We get land number 4. Let's play our Geistflame while we can. Alright, so 1 more land needed for our Sunfall, but that's not going to be much help against the Ronin. Yep, Ronin comes back down. Veil gives it +1/+1 in Vigilance. Oh, second Veil. They're triggering off each other now? Okay. Alright, well that's going to hit us for 5 then. Ronin goes back to the hand. We're at 12. All right, this is good. Let's see if we can get a land with a reservoir. Ugh, the Wanderer. All right, well, sorry to see that one go, but we've got a lightning strike here. Hopefully we can ding this Ronin before it gets any bonuses. Yep, we'll let you target it there. Hit it with a lightning strike before the bonuses take effect. All right, Ronin down. That is good. Hopefully Sunfall can scoop up any future threats here. Ugh, all right, land number 5. Let's do it. And we'll just keep up Reservoir for this turn, see if we can't ping anything else before it gets too big. Opponent with Atraxis Skitterfang. Okay. So what, that passes out abilities, basically? Gets some bonuses from the Veils, but haste not among its abilities. All right, land number 6. We're just going to go for Bombardment here. Gotta lay it down. If we're going to Sunfall, I'd rather scoop up 2 things, at least. Get our money's worth. All right, opponent with a second Patches now. It's going to trigger both Veils, putting that all in the Skitterfang. And then looks like Eater of Virtue, so that puts a counter on Patches. Skitterfang's going to get even bigger. Oh, they've got mana left to equip it as well. All right then, so going to combat. Skitterfang looks like it's going to give itself lifelink here. And with the Eater, it's going to hit us for 8, bring us to 4. Well, we've got Lightning Strike and Play with Fire down here, but I think we're just going to Sunfall anyway. Yeah, it's not like we have an instant in hand to use next turn, so let's go ahead and Sunfall. We'll be kind of shields down during the opponent's turn. Just going to throw that Lightning Strike at the opponent. Build up our Geistflame. If we can make it through this turn, I think we're going to have enough spells. We're going to be okay. Oh, all right. Opponent just passes it back. Well, we can Glisten. Keep up mana for either Geistflame or an Incubator. We'll just do another Lightning Strike at our opponent. Decline the Sunfall. Dropping them to a nice 23. So we get some big 6/6 Incubator tokens ready to flip. All right, opponent with a flyer now. That triggers the Veils. But yeah, still no haste. I think this deck needs a haste enabler of some kind. Gonna put the Eater on it. All right, end of turn. We're going to flip over one of these Incubator tokens. Yep, as that flyer loses its bonuses from the Veil, we pick up a Burn Down the House. Well, let's try Into the Fire here. Just enough damage to remove the flyer, hopefully. Triggers Arcane Bombardment. That's great. Another Lightning Strike to the Dome. Another Glistening Dawn. Keep us well stocked on tokens. And a few more things on the Reservoir for us. Just going to help keep us safe in case they play anything bigger, anything hasty. We're going to have that covered. All right, great. Into the Fire gets rid of the flyer. We're going to be able to eat it with the Eater of Virtue, though. That will make any future hasty attackers a little more dangerous. Opponent with the Rebel Salvo for our token, so we don't get to attack. Okay. Another flyer. We're going to do this all over again. Yeah, I mean, we could ping it out of the sky here, but it doesn't have haste, so not a huge rush. And the Eater already has one under it. All right, let's flip over another big token. big score, the draw for us. Let's Titania's command. I would love some bears, and I would love to gain some life. So let's see. You got, not much, but it's worth it. Puts us out of burn range, and our opponent is playing red. So if they've got lightning strikes, etc., I don't want to be caught surprised by that one. Okay, let's do Into the Fire. Let's do Glistening Dawn, Lightning Strike on the creature. And we're going to power up this reservoir some more. Great, tokens get added. Lightning Strike on the creature successful. Eater of Virtue swallows it up. More Incubator tokens for us. And we can get rid of this Sunfall. We pick up Sunder the Gateway. Command gives us a couple of bears for later. And I think we will swing in with the 6/6. Bring our opponent to 14. All right. Feeling a little better now that we're up at 7 life as opposed to 4. And Titania's command down there for us to pick up. Opponent with Ossification gets rid of our big Incubator token. Luckily, our 2 bears are safe, as it should be. And, all right, well, let's do a little... Now we can just Sunder the Gateway. Let's get rid of Eater of Virtue. And that should trigger Arcane Bombardment. And yeah, opponent sees we got a ton of counters. Good game. All right, here for another one. This looks pretty decent. Union of the Third Path to get us through the first couple of turns of the game as our opponent leads off with Evolve Sleeper. Sleeper probably going to be able to outpace our removal here. As we get Sunder the Gateway. Well, we have a tap land, so no sundering this turn. Let's see what our opponent's got for us now. Ouch. Gix into an attack. Draws a card. Starts refilling the opponent's hand. Gix really a must-answer threat. Alright, we're just going to pass here. Into the Fire there only gets rid of the Evolved Sleeper. And we do have Sunfall in hand. Oh, and that'll be nice if we can grab this Underdog as well. Alright. Hits us for 6 down to 10. They're going to draw 2, unfortunately. Got to keep drawing these lands. We're going to Union here. Alright, so Sokenzan is untapped. We get another Garden. We're going to play the tapped Tri-land so that we're set up with Sokenzan for next turn, able to Sunfall as soon as possible here. Okay, Evolve Sleeper, another counter on it. We're going to draw with that. Opponent's staring at a full grip of cards. They're going to come over, attacking us for 10, brings us to 7. Gix triggers. Oh, and no draw. All right, opponent very happy with the hand they have. We're going to Union, give ourselves a little bit of room to work with. We pick up a Lightning Strike. We're going to play Sundown Pass, go right into Sunfall. Oh, opponent must have something. Yep, they're thinking about it. They're going to sacrifice their own Underdog to prevent it from getting exiled, so they can still bring it back from the grave. But at least Gix is gone. So the free cards you're getting off that, no longer a thing. Okay, they are blitzing back the Underdog. Wonder if they've got a handful of removal over there, because at 6 mana, there's got to be some good things you can play in that deck. All right, Underdog goes away again. Opponent draws a card. Discards Swamp. Okay. We're going to play Sokenzan. We're going to get Arcane Bombardment down. This seems like a good window in the action to try to get this done. Opponent with yet another land. Okay, just an Underdog. That's not bad. I mean, for us, that's only going to take us to 8 here. Okay, and nothing else. So I was wondering if they had like Debt to the Kami or something, which has been popping up lately as an answer for black and enchantments. All right, Battlefield Forge, our draw. Do we Glistening Dawn here? Let's go for it. It'll trigger Bombardment. We could threaten a blocker. Union, a great pickup for us. Brings us back up to 13, draws us a card. And we're looking at a couple of 7/7 Incubator tokens now. Also have a couple of instants in hand just in case. Opponent with a Shieldred the Apocalypse. All right, let's let that land. Tenacious Underdog also coming out. All right. Going to attacks, we're going to inflate one of these Incubator tokens and throw it in front of the Underdog. Probably just doing that to draw a card for our opponent there. All right, we draw. I'm going to take a little bit from Shieldred here. Luckily, we've got a Union already under Bombardment, so that'll at least help pay for some of these Shieldred triggers. Cabaretti Charm, that's based on the number of creatures we have. And Sunfall in our graveyard, 30% chance of grabbing that one. All right, let's go into the fire on damage. If we grab Sunfall, that's great. All right, we don't, but we do have enough left in our hand to take care of Shieldred with this Lightning Strike. Oh, and we grab Fateful Absence anyway. So Shieldred dings us a little bit, but double Union means we're back up at 18. Let's finish off Shieldred with this Lightning Strike. And, oh, yeah, hey. That means we can just finish it off with these 2 7/7s. All right, not bad. Good game. Okay, this is a pretty good hand. Plenty of lands, a little bit of early interaction and card draw. And we're going to need it by the look of it. Opponent appears to be on mono red with an early Phoenix Chick. Another land, our draw. Electrostatic Infantry. All right. Hits us down to 18 with the Chick. Going to immediately Lightning Strike the Electrostatic Infantry before it gets too big for our early removal. Trying to conserve as much life as possible until we can get up to Sunfall. Hopefully start recurring Union, which is often the path to victory against mono red. All right, opponent's got a Monastery Swift Spear. And a Reckless Impulse, going to pump that up a little bit. Let's see, raise the Effigy and Reckless Impulse is the draws there. All right, let's play our tap land then, since all we've got is a 2-drop. We're going to hit the Monastery Swift Spear with the Lightning Strike. Get rid of that before they can respond to it and make it any bigger. Opponent going to Reckless Impulse again. I will say the one thing I do like about mono red opponents is as soon as we get the Union of the Third Paths going at all with Bombardment, they tend to scoop it up, which, you know, I appreciate. All right, that play with fire brings us down to 13. Raise the Effigy on the Chick brings us to 10. And we see they got a 1 play with fire left in hand. Passing it back here, we're either going to big score or Union, depending on how much damage they dish out. Squee the play from our opponent. Another play with fire to our face brings us to 8. This attack with Squee and the extra Goblin, that'll bring us to 4, assuming they don't have anything else in hand with that 1 card left. All right, so Squee's going to hit us, along with the 2 other creatures. Let's Union instead of big score. Brings us back up to 9 at least, and we're going to Sunfall. Opponent only 1 card left. See what this draw was here. Lightning Strike to the face. That brings us to 6. No other plays. Well, in that case, I think we just got to go for it here. It's either play Bombardment or keep up the Incubator token. Luckily, this is not a hasty creature. Ancestral Anger, I guess they're just doing it for the draw. Oh, and they've got the Abrade for our Incubator token, so clearing the way. Well, we've got plenty of things to do. Some nice things in our graveyard. Let's big score away the secondary Bombardment. Union of the Third Path. Great, we're back up to 9. We've got a command for the future. Ooh, it's a nice instance. Ah, great. An opponent sees it coming. Good game. All right, this is a weird one, but we're going to go for it. 3 lands with the Arena Shuffler is often a gift, and it is a gift I am willing to accept at this time. Going to pass it back here. Oh no, a Consider. That usually means our opponent is on mono blue, which I actually haven't faced in a while on the ladder. Yes, this is looking more mono blue by the minute. All right, we're going to play Forest and just pass it on back. Keep up Play with Fire for any early Delvers they want to try. Nope, just an Impulse. Filling the grave early for the late game payoff of some Haughty Djinn and some Tolarian Terror. Yep, they're just passing it on over. That's fine. We'll lay down Sundown Pass. I'm just going to go Glistening Dawn right here. It seems like they're eager to counter something, and I'd rather you counter this. All right, they do have a negate for it. So Glistening Dawn goes to the graveyard. Might be able to get that back later on if we can land a Bombardment, which is always tricky. Well, in the same vein, I think we're going to go burn down the house here, just try to make some Devils. Get a little pressure going. Opponent's got Thirst for Discovery. All right, but luckily no response. So let's go ahead and hit him for 3 with the Devils. Yep, this is definitely the mono blue. All right. Can we get them to tap out? Tolarian Terror the play, 2 mana up. Let's go for Bombardment here. If we can land a Bombardment against this type of opponent, it's really good things for us. Spell Pierce, of course. Counters our Bombardment. Going to hang back with these Devils then. We're going to try it again next turn. Opponent just passes, not wanting to attack into the Devils. All right. Well, let's go for it again. Do you have the counter? Okay, just a Thirst. Going to draw 3. Discards an island. What do you got? What do you got? No, and it lands. Okay, this is great. This is excellent news for us. No attacks. We've got Play with Fire in hand to activate Bombardment on our opponent's turn and start pulling up sorceries to reuse here. This is great news. Opponent with a Haughty Djinn. All right, we're still able to chump block the Terror, so let's go ahead and Play with Fire at the end of their turn. Bombardment. Oh, yes. Picks up a Burn Down the House. The perfect pickup. We're going to try for 5 damage here. Now, they can counter this. Even though it is a copy, it can be countered. Okay, they're going to Fading Hope the Djinn back to hand. And looks like the Terror is down. We'll point all these Devils at our opponent. And Play with Fire will take effect. Yep, we'll keep another spell on top. Thank you. So 2 copies of Into the Fire. We're going to fire 1 off, do card draw mode, and just see what else we get here. All right, Play with Fire. So let's burn down the house. We'll choose Devils, of course. Play with Fire to the face. Take a good look at the top. Boseiju, not a spell that works for Bombardment right now. Not even that useful in this match anyway, so we'll put that on the bottom. And let's pitch this into the fire. Nice. We do pick up an instant for our opponent's turn, which is music to my ears. Bring our opponent to 7 with this attack. Yeah, an opponent's sitting on a full grip and a haughty Djinn. Let's see what else they can muster here. Djinn an 8-4, but we're still sitting at 20. And that looks like it. Just passing it back. All right, let's lightning strike the face. Might be able to put enough devils on board to make this too dangerous for the opponent. They're going to fire off an impulse here. Looking at the top 4 for something. We pull up Glistening Dawn. All right. And that about wraps it up. Good game. All right. Well, this is keepable. Very mono-red heavy opener, but that's fine. Start off with the untapped land for Play with Fire. Okay, opponent starts off with Ambitious Farmhand. So this could go a couple of different ways. Might be, I don't know if this is mono-white humans. I'm not sure if they play that card, or it could be a sort of mid-rangey, control-y version of mono-white. Gobakon, so they're definitely looking to attack with some things. Sure, that's fine. I will say, even though you do get to play it for, you know, a taxed mana cost, it's still one of the more disheartening cards to come out of the new sets when it gets played on you. We're going to hit the farmhand with Play with Fire so they can't get that down low too early, especially since we know we don't have a turn 3 play. Wedding announcement, I see. Going wide and putting counters on things seems like a solid strategy. Pass it on back. Plan is to big score here. Really going to need some more spells. Try to get this bombardment going pretty much before we're defeated by these tokens that are probably going to get pretty big. All right, human attacks the battle, brings it to 2. Let's big score away the Karplusan Forest. We see land and Sacred Fire. All right, well, at least it's a cheap instant. Not the worst, as our opponent gets even more tokens on board. Well, I think we got to chance this here. Let's go for Arcane Bombardment. So it's mono-white. It's got plenty of answers for enchantments, rather. So we have to see, do they have any? Or do they even consider this a threat? No, a Turtle Wanderer instead. Okay. More tokens, a double striker. All right, sending 2 at the battle and 2 at our face. So that means as this battle gets recast on the flip side, all of these attackers are going to get counters. Oh, and is one of the... Yeah, the wedding announcement's going to flip over. Okay. All right, well, we're staring down a big board, and opponent's able to sacrifice the flip side of Gobakon here, so we got to make him do it. At least we can get rid of the Wanderer, and this will force the sacrifice of that enchantment. We do have enough mana left to Sacred Fire on our opponent's turn. All right, Play with Fire, the pickup here for Bombardment. Wanderer will go down, just confirming the math on that one. And definitely putting a land on the bottom. All right. Well, it's worth it to get that indestructibility out of the way. Hopefully we can survive an attack here. Just barely by the looks of it. All right. Opponent goes to attacks. Going to hit us with everybody. Let's point Sacred Fire at the leftover Spirited Companion. See what we can pick up here. Opponent looking around for things to do. Oof, just big score. Trying to pick up this burn down the house, but it's a little slippery. Play with Fire, not going to be able to help us out, so we're going to point that at the face. Oh, Geistflame. Yeah, I think we need spells, we need Sunfalls. Something else. Okay, a Lightning Strike is a spell. And Sacred Fire, a little expensive, but we could gain some more life with that later. Ooh, and this double striker puts us to 2. Glad we Sacred Fired first. That would have been embarrassing. All right. The other wedding announcement flips over. Means these are all 4/4s now. What do we got? Sacred Fire and Burn Down the House. So if we Sacred Fire, that guarantees Burn Down the House as our pickup for the turn. All right. Let's do big score as well. Toss Sokenzan there. Play with fire again to the face. Really controlling the top of our library with that. And 5 damage mode. Excellent. Wipes the board. Fantastic. And Sacred Fire brings us back up to 4. Well, not going to be able to reuse that with Bombardment, but at least we've dealt with this troublesome board, and our opponent appears to be out of token generators for the moment. So will we get a reprieve here? Elish Norn, Mother of Machines. So that prevents the enters the battlefield things from triggering. Well, I think we might be able to cobble together enough damage. Let's see, Play with Fire is 2, and I think we can scrape together 7 more from what's already in Bombardment. Yeah, let's see, 5 from Burn Down and the extra Play with Fire. Might as well burn down the house. All right. Well, we got there. Good game.